Hello and welcome to the second episode of the Six and Out podcast. This is the place where we talk about all the latest cricket news and results as it happens. Dejan, it's the eve of the World Test Championship final. First of all, what are your overall thoughts and how much are you looking forward to the final?
Yeah, definitely looking forward to it. It's always a great occasion, especially whenever in the final in whatever it is, whether it's T20s, Test or ODIs, and two great nations as well who are been played some excellent cricket over the last couple of years. So I'm really excited for tomorrow.
Yeah, for those who don't know, obviously the World Test Championship cycle is a cycle that takes place over 2 years, where each team plays 6 series, 3 at home, 3 away. But there has sort of been controversy regarding obviously the scheduling and whatnot as well. Some teams having to only play 2 matches in a series, where teams like Australia, India, England have to play 5 match series against one another. Which can make it difficult because obviously it's based off the amount of wins you have and then obviously the percentage of the wins. So just talk about your thoughts on that, really.
To be honest, I don't really agree with it. I feel like it's just kind of wrong because South Africa topped the group, but they only played 12 Test matches, and they drew the Test series against India, lost to New Zealand, but then played teams like Sri Lanka, West Indies, and Pakistan, as well as Bangladesh. And all of those Test matches were only 2 Test match series, and so I don't agree with that in terms of and the fact that they didn't play the strongest of opposition. It obviously benefited them. And I mean, you look at Australia; they played 19 Test matches, and other teams played more Test matches as well. And teams like India and England, they actually won more Test matches than South Africa against, I'd say, more difficult opposition. But yet, South Africa still go through purely because of the fact that their percentage is better playing weaker opposition in less games, which I don't agree with. I just think that's kind of wrong. But, it's the way it is.
Yeah, I mean, I know there's been issue with sort of like funding and obviously not sort of the teams like Australia, India, England, the other teams not playing as much tests as them. I think personally, every team should play every team. Like one cycle, if they play certain teams at home, certain teams away, because there's 9 teams. So if you think about it, one team's playing 8 teams. So instead of three at home, 3 away, play 4 tests at home, 4 away as well. There has been talks implementing sort of a tier system to cricket with like promotion, relegation. I think it's split into the top 6 and maybe like the bottom 4, I want to say, in another tier. Do you think that's sort of feasible?
It might work, but it also, again, I feel like that's just a way to just benefit the stronger teams in terms of I feel like the teams that will get relegated and will stay in the lower divisions and struggle to get promoted are the slightly weaker teams. I don't really know what are your kind of thoughts on that? Do you think it benefits the stronger teams, or is it?
Yeah, I mean, like I say, you want to see bigger teams like play smaller nations. I mean, you saw England play Zimbabwe in that 4-day game. I thought it was a decent enough game. I mean, obviously England steamrolled them, but I thought Zimbabwe put up a bit of a fight. But so if we can get more and more tests to sort of bridge the gap between the bigger nations and the smaller nations, I think that would be good.
Yeah, the only issue is there's not many Test matches being played just in general nowadays. There's so few Test matches. So that's the issue in terms of over this 2-year cycle, trying to get teams to play as many Test matches as possible when they haven't played as much, and some teams will play easier teams, some teams will play more difficult teams, and I feel like that should factor in the table as opposed to just a win percentage, even if you don't play the stronger teams. So I don't really necessarily agree with the format.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's great that we are having tests to play with, and obviously we've got this cycle, which I think is competitive to a degree. But like I said, there are glaring issues. I think we should sort of look at the squads for both teams. For Australia, anyway, it's much of the same team, but with one notable omission. Mitchell Marsh misses out, with the returning Cameron Green, so sort of an all-rounder for all-rounder swap, and they have another all-round in Bo Webster who keeps his spot as well. with Australia, I mean, there has been talk about the batting, especially the opening batting. You had Sam Constance make his debut in the Border Gavaskar Trophy. And obviously, Khawaja didn't have the best of series. And then you've had the likes of Steve Smith trialed and guys like Marnus Labuschagne not being in the best of form. In terms of the opening makeup, do you see Australia making significant changes?
It's funny you say Constance. It just reminds me of that series when he just kept scooping Jasprit Bumrah. But no, I've seen reports over the last couple of days that maybe Marnus might go to opening, and then they might put Cameron Green in at 3. But I mean, just got the stats here. I mean, you look at Khawaja's stats over this cycle. He's the highest run scorer for Australia. He's averaging nearly 42 for an opener. And you look at some of the series that Australia have played in the last couple of years, that's like highly impressive. So I wouldn't, and he's also as well, he's batted well in England. You know, he had a good Ashes series a couple of years ago. So if I was selectors, I would back Khawaja for this game. But as I said, the reports the last couple of days indicate that Marnus might go up to number 3, to open, and then Cameron Green might go into number 3, which will be very interesting. He's like had a completely. He's always like changed in terms of where he's batted. Started off at 6, 7, then went to number 4. Now he's at number 3. So it's gonna be interesting. But I'd still back Khawaja.
Yeah, I mean, they sort of trialed Steve Smith at the top as well. I remember. I think it was against the West Indies. But I think you should sort of stick to your guns. I think you should back the youngster and Constance to pair with Khawaja. Let the guy express himself like he did in that series against India. And I think with the rest of the lineup, I think you'd see obviously Cameron Green probably slotting at 6 or 7, and then Bo Webster there as well. And then obviously you got the Pacers with Nathan Lyon there as well.
Yeah, the issue that's going to be where's everyone going to be able to fit in, because they're probably going to have their keeper. So Alex Carey will probably be 7. Travis Head will definitely go 5 because of his strike rates. And then number 6, I reckon it's between. If it was up to me, it'd be between Cam Green and Bo Webster for 6.
Yeah,
I'd probably just lean more towards Cam Green, but
especially experience playing in that last
but,
final as well.
I mean, he has just been coming back from injury, so they might not want to risk it. So we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, decision. And then obviously on the South Africa side, they've got Lungi and Gidi back, which is pace attack, which is going to be useful. Obviously, he's had that experience in the IPL. Jel Kurtzia misses out. He did have a niggle. And then obviously with the batting, that remains the same, I'm pretty sure. So for them, compared to Australia, they are very inexperienced. So
definitely.
For them, if they are to obviously win this, what key areas are you looking at for South Africa to topple Australia?
I'd say the 3 key areas for me is, first of all, the pace bowling. I think that's obviously always been a strong part of South Africa, especially, you look at Rabada in this 2-year cycle has been one of the leading wicket takers for them. He's been averaging 19.97 and taken 47 wickets in the last 2 years, which is highly impressive. So the pace bowling is going to be crucial. Obviously, along with that, you've got the likes of Marco Jansen as well, who's going to play a big factor, I feel. And obviously, spin-wise, Maharaj is probably most likely going to be the only spinner. It's difficult with spin, especially in England, because a lot of spin bowlers have struggled there. But I mean, Maharaj, he has had good series in England before in Test cricket. I remember one in 2017 where he bowled really well. But the key for South Africa, especially in terms of the batting, I think is Temba Bavuma, because in this last couple of years, in this Test cycle, he's averaging over 60, which is like levels above a lot of the other batsmen that they have. So I feel like that is going to be highly important. If he can fire and come good in this game, then it's going to be very key that's going to be very, very key for them.
Yeah, definitely. I think as well, one area they may struggle with is sort of that middle order batting. So you've got like some Markram, you've got Tristan Stubbs likely going to feature, Varane. as well. They obviously haven't had as much experience as like the Aussies as well. So that's sort of one area. One other thing I want to focus on is obviously the role of spin. Obviously, you probably have that Maharaj
Yeah.
against Lion matchup. Obviously, like you mentioned, spin won't be as much of a factor here in England, but they do play a role. Like I said, obviously rotation of the bowlers as well. So how important is it for spin bowlers to obviously, like I said, they won't feature as much, but how important is it that they're there and they're able to feature?
Oh yeah, massively. Especially when it comes to later days and stuff when the tracks get a bit slower, and yeah, it's gonna play a huge factor because especially in terms of holding up and then consistently bowling, you want to make sure. But the fact that it's only a one-off game means that everybody has to be on it, and you can't afford any slip-ups. So, and that's why South Africa I still feel have a good chance, even though I feel like Australia just have a better squad. The fact that it's a one-off game, it allows the opportunities for the likes of Maharaj, the likes of Tristan Stubbs and Markram, and obviously the others. If a couple of them can just get going in this one-off game, it can just change everything, I feel.
You mentioned a one-off game. There has also been debate about potentially the final being a three-match series instead of just a one-off. What are your thoughts on that?
Uh, I don't mind the one-off games. I think but I do think maybe a three-match series is better. The only issue with that is going to be, especially if the finals are going to be played in England, you never know in terms of weather and conditions and stuff what's going to be. But yeah, I'd say a three-match series could be good for a lot of other teams because notoriously some teams just don't start off games, especially when they play test series. They don't start off very well, which is, you look at teams like India, like England, a lot of teams like that. They haven't started off particularly well in test series, which means that if they're only playing a one-off game, then they might be a bit raw and a bit kind of not really there. Well, what are your thoughts if it goes to a three-match series?
I think it's good because obviously throughout the cycle you're playing series, whether it's two-match series, three-match series, five-match series, even. Yeah, like you mentioned, teams could start slowly as well. So, and also the fact that the rotation of squad as well, it allows you to use your full squad potentially, obviously, because Test cricket is tiring. So, but I can also see the other side. Like I said, it's just a one-off test, the ultimate test. It's just whoever turns up on the day.
Yeah, that's the main thing. Just make sure you turn up on the day.
Yeah. I think we can gather South Africa likely heavy underdogs. I mean, this year, in terms of football and cricket, it's been the year of upsets. I mean, Tottenham winning a trophy after so long, Crystal Palace winning a trophy after so long, RCB winning the IPL after 18 years. I mean, South Africa, they haven't won a trophy since the 1998 Champions Trophy, so it's been over 2 decades. The real question is, can they do it?
Yeah, absolutely, they can do it. I mean, again,
they've got Stuart Broad, so
yeah, yeah. If it was a series, then I would back Australia definitely. But the fact that it's only a one-off game, you never know. You just about any team that will play in this final. If it's a one-off game, you never know. That's why finals are always so unpredictable.
Yeah, definitely. I'll probably back Australia as much as I don't want to, but I just think the experience will shine through.
Yeah. They always have that though. They just have that quality in finals. And if Hazelwood's playing, like we said last time, hasn't lost. So yeah, maybe it'll be a good luck charm again. You never know.
Yeah. Moving on then, we had the England West Indies T20 series start. I think for England, I think it was excellent, their first 2 games. One person I want to give a shout is Liam Dawson, returning after 3 years or almost 3 years. In that first T20, I think he was defending 180 around there. And he puts up
189?
189 actually, yeah. And he puts up with figures of 4 for 20. I mean, talk about returning with a bang.
Oh yeah, massively. He's what he did really well is because it's a thing with a lot of left arm spinners, especially when they're bowling to a team with a lot of right handers. They always use that. They always come around the wicket and use that left arm angle.
Yeah.
So it will come. So it will look like it will come in then spin away, and he did that really well. You look at a couple of his wickets when he's kind of like drifting it, and then it will go away from the right hander. But yeah, I mean, again, he varied his pace really well and his line and length really well in terms of to different batsmen. He varied in terms of, you look at his last wicket. I think was it Rodman? I don't know if it was Rodman Powell the last wicket, but he put it in a bit quick. He just bowled it a bit quicker. His first wicket, no, it wasn't Shea Hope. It was somebody else. It was, he flighted it up and then it went away and he got stumping. So again, he varied his paces and his line and length beautifully in that first T20.
Yeah, and as a spinner in T20, you have to do that, don't you? I mean, and he was also bowling in the power play, which you see a lot of spinners do. Obviously, you talk about that matchup there. Some of the Windies batters may not have been more suited to spin than others.
I tell you what you don't do if you're what spinners don't do: bowl the 19th over. Like,
oh gosh, I was just about to come on to that.
What was it? 31. 31.
Yes, 31 runs, 19th over. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, what do you think of Brook only playing two seamers in that second T20? I think it was Luke Wood and Bryden Carse.
Yeah. It was a weird one, wasn't it? It was a really weird one because you realize that they bowled out, and you just look at it and you're like, well, who's going to bowl? And then you see Rashid, and you're like, this might not end well. And yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
that's always the issue. That's always the issue, though, when you're batting like in the last couple of overs against spin. Of course, you're just going to go for it.
Yeah.
But hey, they got the win, so it's that's the most important thing. But
and obviously,
looking back on it, he probably regrets it. But,
Mm-hmm. And Luke Wood, I mean, he was excellent. Obviously, figures of 2 for 25. I think in the power play itself, he only conceded 2 runs and got a wicket. I mean, how good has he been returning as well? Like I say, these sort of fringe players that they're obviously in the running but can't quite get in the team. How important is it for them to obviously show and make their case for the England team?
Yeah, massive. I mean, what he did really well and what he's done really well in the past for Lancashire is obviously that left armer. He uses that like in swing to the right hander and the away swing to the left hander. And you saw his first ball, like it was just like on the money straight away and swinging away, and got him plumb LB. He uses his swing really well in the power play, which I think is a testament to him because he's such a dangerous bowler at the start. And someone like him, in terms of taking wickets and, getting your team off to a great start, he's done a wonderful job at that over the last 4 or 5 years. Done a brilliant job with that.
Yeah, and it helps that he's essentially like a T20 specialist bowler. And like you mentioned, having that left armer swinging it up front, I mean, it can cause trouble to any side. Another player I want to give a huge mention to is Tom Banton, playing I think at number 6, not his usual role or his position, but the way he finished it in that second innings, and obviously just took the game away from the West Indies. 30 not out of just 11 balls. I mean, is there a case for him to potentially open the batting? I know they've trialed Jamie Smith and Ben Duckett up top, but can Tom Banton be there?
It's not going to be easy to get in because you still have Phil Salt to come back, who is I think a nailed on, obviously for openers. But to be fair, what this management have shown that if you're playing well and you're doing well, they'll give you a chance and opportunity. But yeah, I mean, Banton's always been like that. Even when he's played for Somerset and stuff, he's always had all the shots in the book. You see the reverse sweeps off pace bowlers, but he's always batted with really high strike rates. I mean, his strike rates over 150 in the few T20s that he's played, and he's always going to play that aggressive style. And yeah, I mean, he looked highly impressive with what he was doing at number 6. So yeah, I think if he continues to play and continue to play well, then I don't see why he can't get more opportunities in the England team.
Yeah. I mean, as for the West Indies, it was a series to forget. Obviously, losing 3-0 in the ODIs, obviously down 2-0 in the T20 series. And obviously, sad news in terms of retirement as well. Nicholas Puran retiring just 29. In fact, he's the most capped West Indies T20 player, playing 106 matches, and he's the highest run scorer in the format. I mean, just for the Windies, I mean, he didn't take part in this series after coming up off the back of the IPL. I mean, just how big of a miss will he be for the Windies?
Yeah, massive, like you said. I mean, his keeping, first of all, he's one of the best. He's a fabulous keeper, obviously. But I mean, his batting has been like just incredible. When you saw him in the IPL, you know, the way he strikes the ball, he hit the most sixes in the IPL. But again, I mean, retiring at 29, I feel like it's similar to Clarkson's retirement in terms of, again, you've seen a player who is probably getting paid very, very handsomely in franchise cricket. So he's probably just decided, you know, just want to play that. That's the kind of format I want to play. There's no real point in playing internationals if West Indies don't play as many, as well as that, you know, he's probably not getting paid as much as he does for franchises. So I feel like again he's another player that's fallen victim to contracts and money and everything, which is why I think this decision's been made. Because at the age of 29, no one should be retiring, especially when they're playing and striking the ball the way he is. I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, and there has been that debate as well. Obviously, should cricket boards obviously have more authority and control over players that do play franchise? Potentially even like limit them to like 1 or 2 leagues instead of playing leagues all over the world. So then they are able to commit to international duties. I mean, is it hard to find the balance in that?
Kind of yes and no, because we've seen in the past that we've seen like teams at India, like they don't let their players play like foreign T20s or anything. But yeah, it is an issue because now it's 2 players now in Puran and Clarkson in the last 2 weeks who have both announced their retirement, probably to go and play franchise cricket elsewhere. So I think that's a major issue, and I feel like it will continue to happen because, as I said, teams don't play much international cricket, and then when it comes to franchise cricket, as I said, they probably get paid very well. And everybody's human beings, you know, we all need money, so they probably just made that decision, best interest for them and their families. So, yeah, probably the way it has to be.
Yeah, and I feel like since the start of the decade, I mean, the Windies have just been on a downward spiral. I mean, they failed to qualify for the 2023 World Cup. I think it was the 2022 World Cup. They didn't even make it to the Super 12s. So, I mean, just for them as a cricket board, I mean, they do need to have a hard look at themselves. Because obviously you've got the upcoming 2026 T20 World Cup and then the ODI World Cup, which they wouldn't want to miss out on again. So for them as a cricket board, I mean, it's dark times, but you want to be optimistic and look ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I still think they played decently in this T20. I think they played much better in this T20 series than in the ODI series. I think a problem is like just they haven't got like in terms of picking the right players in the right positions and stuff. I mean, Jason Holder's coming in at number 10. It's like, you know, that's obviously good for the batting because obviously he's a very good batsman as he showed. But I mean, that's still not where you really want him to play. You know, I think Jason Holder, with the way he bats in his long levers, especially in T20 cricket, he could be like a number 5, number 6 easily. But I mean, you have him batting at 10, and he's still one of the key bowlers. They just haven't quite got that bit right in terms of selections, where players will bat, obviously, in different areas. So they're going to have to get it right if they're going to want to turn it around and try and make these next couple of competitions in the next couple of years. They're going to have to try and get the right players and just make sure they're settled in their position. So when it comes to matches, they're fully prepared on it. Do you feel like West Indies, again, kind of similar to Pakistan, are still in a transitional phase, or do you feel like right now West Indies are just kind of just really struggling for a lot of things?
Yeah, I think in the ODI format they are.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned, the T20s, they could sort of get away with it because they do have sort of that power hitters and they could get the sums out of the hole. But I think for them, it's just consistency, like you say. And that's what the big teams are. They have consistency in all 3 formats usually, or if not two of the formats. So that's what they need to find. And they need to find that with obviously consistent selection and backing players as well. But I mean, like I say, it's a long road ahead for them.
I think the key is just making sure they see light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, definitely.
Right now, if they don't see that, if the fans don't see that right now, then kind of struggling a little bit to. But hopefully.
Yeah. Moving on, we've got the upcoming England-India Test series following the World Test Championship, and it even got announced with a new name, the Anderson Tendulkar Trophy. It was previously called the Pataldi Trophy. Do you think it's a good way to recognise the series? Obviously, we have the Border Gavaskar Trophy. What do you think of the new name?
It's a good way to remind all India fans that Anderson's got Tendulkar I think the most times. So that's great. We'll name it the Anderson Kohli Trophy in a minute. So
Yeah.
So it's a good name. It's a good name. I mean, it's two of you're looking at arguably England's greatest ever cricketer and India's greatest ever cricketer. So yeah, I think it's fair enough. I think it's just reminds me of every time Anderson used to get Kohli out, and it's always like that with commentators as well. Like they do the same thing over and over again, especially English commentators. It's like whether it's Nasser Hussain or it was David Lloyd or Michael Atherton, anybody, it was like, oh yeah, this Tendulkar's come out to the middle. Oh, he's looking so good. How are you going to get? Oh, how do you get him out? Next ball, nicked, gone, and just walks off, and it's just like, Jesus Christ. Same thing happened with Kohli. Same thing happened. Oh, it was awful. But yeah, it's a good name. I don't mind it.
Yeah.
I don't mind.
And obviously, Anderson won't be in the squad, but England have announced their 14-man squad. I think the big news is obviously from that Zimbabwe test is Matthew Potts misses out with Jamie Overton coming in, who himself hasn't played a test, I think, since the 2022 summer against New Zealand.
I thought he broke his finger. Against
yeah, he did. I think after the first ODI, but I think he must have recovered, or maybe he's in the squad, but maybe he won't start. But Chris Wokes is also in the 11. So I think the batting side of England will pretty much stay the same.
Yeah,
I know Jacob Bethel's bad, but I don't see him getting in the lineup. But it's that bowling makeup, because obviously you've got Sam Cook, who made his debut, guys like Josh Tong as well. So what's your overall assessment of the squad?
I think it's a good squad. As I said, the batting's pretty much nailed on.
Yeah.
So I don't think you don't really need to change that. But I mean, yeah, the bowling there's a lot of good depth in it. I mean, so Potts missing out. I'm surprised that he does miss out though, because he's a very he's proven in the past that especially in England with the red ball, he's a very, very like trustworthy bowler. But I probably think you look at the likes of Bryden Carson and stuff, I feel like they're going to get the opportunities to play. So yeah, it's slightly inexperienced, but I think Wokes coming back probably will play, because in English conditions he can be brilliant. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what their bowling lineup will be. I feel like it's going to be very interesting, and it's going to be quite inexperienced, but they've still got a good depth in terms of pace bowling.
Yeah, I mean, I did hear that Jofra Archer could be in line for the second test, but obviously you have to get this first test out of the way, and obviously guys like Mark Wood could come in later on as well. Just on an Indian perspective, it is sort of a new era for them as well. No Rohit, no Kohli, young captain in Shubman Gill. For them, how difficult will it be, obviously having their first series away in England?
Yeah, it probably could be easier circumstances for players to come into, but it's just it's a massive opportunity for somebody to really step up. India have so much. One thing India can't complain about ever is depth in terms of quality. So yeah, I mean, that's the most important thing, that they make sure that they just get it right for the 5 test matches, because in the past they haven't. And very important that they just start well with the batsmen, give them a chance, give them opportunities, and hopefully they can capitalize on that and people can break out and have a really good series.
Yeah, for them last time out against Australia, I think key issue was obviously the batters didn't perform, but the bowling, obviously outside of Jasprit Bumrah, I think Mohammad Siraj had somewhat of a semi-par series, but apart from that, there wasn't really much depth. And with guys like Mohammad Shami injured, I'm just looking at the bowling squad. You've got obviously Shardul Thakur, Mohammad Siraj, Prasid Krishna, Akashdeep, and Arshdeep Singh. I mean, some of those players haven't played a lot of Test cricket, especially on the international stage. So, how important is it for the other guys to back up someone like Jasprit Bumrah, who will perform?
It might be the worst thing in the world if Shadow tackles like third choice bowler. That might be it might be on the ropes if that happens. Nah, surely not. But oh god.
I mean, you never know.
If that happens, and I see him with his dibbly dobbling medium paces, and just it's gonna be awful. But yeah, it's a very inexperienced bowling lineup. I don't. The worst thing about it is I'd be surprised if Bumrah plays all 5 Test matches, because obviously fitness and everything. And yeah, Shami not being there is an issue. But you go through the bowlers. What is it? Arshdeep Singh, Akashdeep, Harshit Rana.
Sorry, not Harshit, right? Prasid Krishna. And then Siraj and Thakur as well.
Yeah. I think Siraj should definitely get a go. I think he's become a lead bowler for India in the last 4 or 5 years. I think he's been a lead bowler. So I'd definitely play him. And then it's just very inexperienced. That's the issue. You're just not sure how certain bowlers are going to go. Like Arshdeep Singh, I'd love it if he, for a left armer, I'd love for him to get an opportunity. But as I say, you just never know. Like throwing them into a series against England is probably easier circumstances to get into. There's probably easier circumstances for people to like make their debuts and stuff.
True.
So I think it might be Arshdeep or Prasid Krishna. I think one of the two.
Yeah. I think Prasid, he did have a good IPL as well. Constantly hitting that length as well. And in England, that'll be useful.
Especially his height as well.
Yeah. And he could sort of be like a Shami replacement, obviously, with that seam up delivery as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to see the makeup. And obviously, for the batting as well, you'd think obviously it'd be Jaiswal and KL Rahul up top, because they did play in that recent England A, India A game. Practice match that ended up being a draw. And Rahul, he looks to be in good touch, because he scored 116 in the first innings and then 51 in the first innings. So
he looked brilliant. He's always been such an elegant player to watch.
Yeah,
I've always loved watching him more than anyone else.
And with him, he can bat anywhere in the order. Like ask him to bat at 3, opening 4, anywhere, he'll do it. So that's great about him.
It's just his fluidity with the way he plays. It's just he just makes it look so effortless.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, some of the innings that he's played over the last couple of years have just been like sublime. So yeah, he's gonna be very, very key in this series, depending on where he bats, whether it's opener or maybe in the middle order. But he's gonna be very, very important for us.
Yeah, and especially in a 5-match series, I mean,
absolutely,
all the batting will have to perform on both sides.
Yeah, definitely.
Right, I think that will do it for the second episode of the 6 and Out podcast. Be sure to check out all of our socials. And for Test cricket fans, I mean, it's an exciting time. We've got the World Test Championship, and then following that, we'll have the England-India series. We'll have more analysis on the England-India series upcoming.
Let's do predictions for the game, for the final.
Depends who's batting, but I think it won't be a blowout, but I can see Australia winning comfortably. Like, either they'll chase it down, but with like 8 wickets to spare with a small target, or they'll win by like 200 plus runs.
Well, just to be different, I'm gonna go with South Africa, because I feel like it's an opportunity. It gives an opportunity for somebody to step up and become a star. It's just to be different. So I'm gonna go South Africa.
Yeah, no problem. All right. We'll wait and see then what the result will be. Many thanks to Dejan for joining me, and we'll see you next time.